Hello guys, and hello ZJ. So I'm going to be responding to your video filling in each other's blanks, the importance of listening. Most of this video is going to be unscripted because I haven't really got time at the moment. I posted a few comments from my third channel, FracFap, which I'll link in the description box. Now, I do respectfully disagree with you on this video on a number of points and some of the things which you were saying in the comments. So, you start your video by condescendingly talking about why we watch other people's videos and visit their blogs, blah blah blah, and it's so we can learn things. And then you talk about how we've got incomplete views on reality and we've got lacks in our personal experience. And then you give the example of men doubting the very possibility that sexual harassment at atheist and skeptic meetups is a serious issue because we don't have the personal experience and we may not have witnessed it or been subjected to it. And then you go on to say that when several high-profile women complain about it, our lack of personal experience is no reason to doubt their own familiarity, and patronisingly tell us that we should listen to them, and that way we're going to learn more than if we ignored them, and that of course they have information which will fill in our blank spots. It's quite rare that I strongly disagree with you, but there's a few things that I do respectfully disagree with you on your video and the comment section, and I think you are guilty of some of the things which you accuse us of at points. I've listened to both sides, and I think most of the other people who disagree with you have as well. Disagreeing doesn't mean we haven't listened. Also, we aren't disagreeing with the very possibility of harassment. We're doubting the claim based on the evidence which is available to us. Now, before I get into why I disagree, I'd just like to add a little disclaimer. I'm not in support of people persistently hitting on another person after discomfort has been stated, and I encourage people to be mindful of this. And as some people lack the confidence to outright state that they aren't interested, I encourage people to pay attention for signs of discomfort as well. That being said, from what I've seen, for the most part, the women who are complaining about being hit on aren't talking about harassment after stated discomfort. They're complaining about being hit on in the first place, full stop. As you leave no links in the description box relevant to this issue, all I can go off is the information I've seen regarding this so far. As I see it, it's simply an attempt to police male behaviour based on their particular brand of feminist theory. There's a lot to consider in this situation in order to take a rational stance, and I'd like to run over some of the points which I think are relevant. Firstly, the majority of the people there are male, and this will drastically increase the chance that a woman will be hit on. The rarity of women at the convention will put them in high demand, and that applies to even the less attractive ones. This is inevitable, and whilst I state this, I also urge men to take this into consideration before they make a move. Now, the second point is that men are expected to make the first move. In the comment section of your video, when I brought this to your attention, you told me that you'd heard this a lot and you find it difficult to believe. Well then, what I suggest to you is that you take your own advice and accept that as a person who hasn't had nearly 27 years of experience as a heterosexual male, you allow us to fill in your blanks, or you're being completely hypocritical. Also, atheists are the minority, and people like to date people with similar interests and beliefs. For a lot of men, it's probably quite hard to find women who are interested in skepticism, and this may be one of the only places they can find people with similar interests. And this may also be the case for a lot of women at the convention as well. Yes, there are multiple reasons why women are more likely to get hit on at the convention than other places, but I don't see this as grounds for trying to police male behaviour. I agree that slut-shaming is bad, but I'm also very much against what the men's rights movement calls creep-shaming. The most famous case of the alleged harassment problem is Rebecca Watson and the elevator gate fiasco. So I'd like to run over why I have an issue with her and I'd like to do this since I haven't voiced my objections to her in video form yet. Watson complained about a guy in an elevator at 4 a.m. saying, "I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I find you very interesting and I'd like to talk more. Would you like to join me for a coffee?" In her video, it seems that she couldn't make up her mind whether she'd never spoke to this man in her life before, or whether she'd verbally made him aware that she was feeling tired and she was going to sleep. But supposing she had told him this, perhaps he could have interpreted that as a polite way of her saying, "You lot are boring me now. I'm going to leave you be, and maybe go upstairs and surf the internet for a bit." That's not unreasonable. That's what I do all the time when I'm bored in a social situation. I make up a polite excuse to leave rather than sounding like a dick. As for it being 4 a.m., on many occasions I've taken women home at that time of night after clubs have closed, have shut down and that kind of thing. I mean, isn't it at the end of a night when people usually take people home? And as for her feeling uncomfortable, the guy may have been socially awkward, but he was certainly polite about it, and as long as he wasn't persistent, she has no right to not feel uncomfortable. I've heard people say that the situation was blown out of all proportion, but I think that when a well-known feminist, someone who's quite well-known and high profile, tries to tell men what they can and can't do and police their behaviour, this is grounds to react and show strong approval. I also highly suspect that the elevator situation would have been completely different if it was somebody that she actually found attractive. Now let's look at the flip side. Do you see male rock stars complaining when women are hitting on them that they don't find attractive and are making them feel uncomfortable? No, we don't. In this society, we treat men as adults who are responsible for their own decisions and have the ability to turn people down. I don't think women are emotionally unstable children who need protecting from the evil men's. I treat them with the same level of respect that I would show a man. You may say that men are generally a lot more physically adept than women, so they should make more of an effort to not appear physically intimidating to them. But to that I would point out that, well, there are women who are more physically adept than the majority of men, and society doesn't tell them to curb their behaviour when asking out a man, or a woman for that matter. In the comments section you say, what I'm hearing from people is we need to hit on women even at the cost of making them uncomfortable. Now this is a straw man. No one is saying that. They're not saying that we need to hit on women. They're saying that men shouldn't have their behaviour policed in that manner. Yes, women tend to feel less safe than men, but this, I think, is highly unwarranted. Men are the majority of victims of nearly every type of violence. Even muggers, who you would expect to try to find a vulnerable target, are actually 3 times more likely to attack a man than a woman. I put it to you that the reason so many women feel unsafe is because of people like Watson, who see rapey behaviour at every turn and tell women that they should be entitled to never have a man flirt with them unless they find them attractive. You say that we should believe that harassment is a big problem because a few high-profile women say so. Well, the people I've heard complaining about it generally seem to have strong ideological motives to complain, and what I've heard them complain about doesn't seem to be valid. But supposing that they really have experienced terrible harassment, yes, this is bad, but you should know that the plural of anecdote isn't evidence. I know a few white people who've been mugged by black people. Does that mean racism towards white people is a major problem in society? I know people who think that they've got better as a result of taking homeopathy treatments. Does that mean that homeopathy works? And what about all the women, including many feminists, who strongly disagree with what Watson and others have to say? Should their opinions be discredited too? I've also heard lots of women complain that they always end up with arseholes. Now, there's multiple factors involved into why this happens, but I strongly believe that part of the reason for this is that arseholes don't care if they make somebody feel uncomfortable, whereas nice guys seem to buy into this rhetoric that they shouldn't approach a woman because no matter how nicely he does it, it'll make her feel uncomfortable. And I've also heard many women complain that they don't get asked out enough. and this is part of the reason. So, policing male behaviour also harms women. I am open to dissenting opinions on this matter though, so if you'd like to respond to these comments, either leave me a video response or post some comments down below. But I think that this will be enough to start a discussion, even though there is quite a lot more I could say on the subject. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Ciao for now.